structures and interlacement of yarns and fabrics and different structures they may cause. Okay, first of all, we have to choose the knitting technology. Designing of garment knitting of knits. Designing of garment making of knit means what type of designings in garments will be essential. Designing means different types of structures and warp knitting and weft knitting. In weft knitting there are single jersey, double jersey, purl and interlock. So different types of structures are involved for making the designs. First of all, knitted goods in big rolls are exported to many countries, further converting the fabrics into garments for industrial use. Industry should turn the values added products like garments. India is still having a plus point in value addition with a relatively cheaper labor and cheaper cotton yarn than in many of the countries of the world. Why? Because knitting is a very big export to many countries. Why? Because our India is a very cheapest levers and cheapest cottons and cheapest technology of yarns and spinning countries all over the world. Why? Because India is a democratic country and it is a developing country. So poor people are very more in the our country, and so that labor cost is very cheaper than the other countries. And it is a poly mesh and it is a warp knitting machines. It is a structure of warp knitting. This is called as a underlapping. By the underlapping only the poly mesh will be used, and it is useful for the dry products of our sanitaries and food products for different types of using, and it is a decorative purpose of curtains. It is also called as a weft knitting. In weft knitting only there are different types of structures are manufactured on the fabrics surfaces, like the colors and different types of colors are also used in weft knitting structures. And tablecloth is also manipulated by the circular knitting machine. Why? Because the circular weaving machine only the around the tubular form of the fabric will be produced in the different types of structures. Hence, designing, cutting, sewing, and making up knit apparels and garment sectors should be concentrated more. Hence, designing, cutting means in garment sectors, every departments of different technical techniques are used. Marking designs and pattern designings and cutting sections, sewing techniques, and different types of techniques are involved in the garments. Computer aided design should be adapted to examine a pattern of garments design on the screen or colored printed design on paper without actually knitting the sample. Computer aided designing means should be adapted to examine a pattern garments means totally by the software only we are inputting the taking the decisions of marker planning or pattern designing, and cutting sections and sewing sections are totally depends upon the CAD systems programs. There is a great scope for knitting machines attached to computers to accept pattern designs, colors and knit stitch variations as desired in minutes. Jacquard patterns, sweater designing, intarsia, terry towels, double links are the areas where such styles and fashion changes will stand in the international competitions. Processing of knit goods. Knit goods are notorious for their dimensional stability. The role of wet processors is very important. India is far behind in processing the knitted goods. Soft flow dyeing machines, relaxed drying and calendaring and stabilizing the fabrics are the most important factors which require state of the art equipment. It is therefore essential that a process house with modern machinery and equipment should be centrally set up to and cater to the needs of small scale knitted goods manufacturers. Non-apparel uses of knit goods. Production of technical textiles is a rapidly developing trade. For this, man-made fibers and warp knit machines are the key factors. Some of the warp knitted textiles in technical end uses are for filter automobile textiles, conveyor belts, sailcloth, sport bags, nets, medical textiles such as plasters, bandages, blood vessels, dialysis filters. And this is the geotextiles. Geotextiles is the one of the technical textiles. It is used for civil engineering to construct the fabrics of dams, canals, etc. That synthetic fibers are useful for the disabsorption of water in canals and dams, and in road constructions hydrophilic fabrics are produced to absorb the water on the roads into the septic tankers or drainage facilities of the on the road. And automobiles interiors used for the garment fabrics for the interior decoration of the automobile, seating covers and seating plants and seating automobile interior seats, belts and pushings of closures and cloth covers, total automobile nets. And one of the fishing nets also used for netting garments to keep the fishes for catching the in water. It is very capable of very fine, very strengthable net fibers. And curtains, it is a decorative purpose we are using the curtain fibers. It is very decorative and very easy to manufacturing in weft knitting machines. And this is a bandage cloth, and it is used for the medical textiles. In medical textiles it is a plantable implantable bandages and plantable bandages. There are two types of techniques. Implantable means it is removal after the operations. Implantable means this is a decompose in our body only. That type of fabrics is also produced in garment sectors. Okay, this is about the knitting technology.